Hello all. Today we are going to see about how information retrieval system works. In other words, we are going to see how Google works. So we need to understand what is an information retrieval system. So as the name suggests, information retrieval system helps users find information that matches their information needs. So when a user wants to know about certain information, that information is given as a query, and the information retrieval system retrieves the web pages or any text documents relevant to the user's need. That's what it means. An information retrieval system can be as small as searching books in library search software, which deals with hundreds of books, or it can be thought of as big as Google search that deals with billions of web pages. Okay, so we will understand in this lecture like how Google works. So that is going to be our concern today. So these are the primary modules Google has: web crawling, indexing, query processing, searching, and ranking. So we will see how each and every process is done. So this is the overall picture of Google's pipeline. The crawler takes all the web pages from the internet, and the parser here means it parses the HTML tags and it cleans the content, takes the content. That's what the parser is doing here. And indexing. So after the documents are indexed, that web pages are parsed. They have to be indexed for quick processing, and the index is built, the database is built, and it's ready for the search. So that means it's ready for the user to search for their information needs. First one is web crawling. So it is done by the crawler. The crawler crawls the internet to collect the web pages using spiders. The spiders can be thought of little automated programs or bots that collects the websites. So while collecting the websites, it also takes care of the websites which are mostly preferred by the users. So that is also taken care by using their query words. And also it checks whether periodically it checks whether there is an updation done in the web pages. So that is also done by the spiders. So then comes the indexing. So the crawler has collected all the web pages. So it is now a raw, unstructured text. So it cannot be used by the search engine. So it has to be organized. That's what indexing is going to do. So we have massive data with us. So now they have to be organized. And of course, Google search index contain billions of web pages. And this is its size, the index size is over 100 billion gigabytes in size. So indexing can be thought of like the index, what we see at the back of every textbook. So imagine a web page. So it is containing, let's say it is containing 100 words. For each and every word, an index is built. So that's how we should. So it is visualized in the slide. So for each and every word or an image, an index is built. So whatever web pages that contains that word or image is organized. So that is, it is linked along with this word. So when a user is giving that word, for example, a dog image is shown. So he wants to search for a dog. All the web pages that are containing the information about the dog, that will be retrieved. So that this kind of indexing strategy is called, pinning up the websites for a single word. We call it as inverted indexing. So this is how an inverted index is constructed. So the documents to be indexed. So that here it is essentially web pages. So that is tokenized. So we know what is tokenization. So removing the white spaces and taking only the words. And then we have linguistic modules. So here linguistic modules can be thought of the grammatical component identification. We can identify the grammatical structure of the query, or I'm sorry, not the query, the sentences, or we can understand the parts of speech of the words present in there, or we can identify whether they are named entities or not. So whatever we want to understand about the words, we can understand. So and then we are going to index. So once the words are understood and they are tagged with more and more information, what we need, and then we will index it. So the inverted index will essentially look like this. The friend, those numbers are nothing but the document IDs. So the that is web page IDs. So these web pages, so whatever web pages that contains the word friend will be linked to the word friend, and similarly the other words. This is how an inverted index will look like. So now we have so far web pages is collected and they are indexed and kept ready. So but from the user perspective, from the user front, so what we are giving is a query, and how that query is processed. That's what we're going to see here. So Google tries to understand what we are searching for in order to provide relevant results. Of course, we all know that. So how this is done with the help of language models. So when we are giving the query, so the Google is able to understand what is our intention, because it has the history of our previous logs, and it has the information of our location. Everything is has. It tries to match our interest and all our background to understand that query. So that's what it means. So Google's synonym system helps search know what we mean even if a word has multiple definition. Of course, natural language words are ambiguous and they have multiple meanings. So the query processing module needs to tackle all these challenges. So deals with ambiguity in query locating our intentions. So for example, if a software person is giving the query Apple, so then Google will definitely throw results about the Mac Apple. So that's what, so it deals the ambiguity using user's intention and spell checks. So normally the query we give have spelling mistakes. So it spell checks the query. So you would have seen this, did you mean? So it will automatically correct the spelling errors we have done. Enhances the query. So when we type the query, so the query gets it gets enhanced. So we would have seen query suggestion. So word suggestion for us. So that is done by the word prediction model. So think of Ngram models we have seen. So those models, those language models are used to predict the most closer words that would accompany the query words we are giving. For example, Taj Mahal or Taj Hotel or whatever it is. So whenever we are giving the query, so the query is enhanced. So that the more, so this is done to get the most closer web pages, which is of users' interest. Now we have collected all the web pages using the crawler, and we have built the index and kept it aside. And the query module, query processing module knows now how to process the user's query. So to link these two, the index module and the query processing module, is the search and rank strategies. The search system is going to just match the query terms with the index, and it is going to fetch the web pages that are relevant. So remember the structure of the query and the structure of the index should be of a same kind. So they should be compatible so that they can match up and get the web pages that are relevant. So that is about searching. So while we are looking at the ranking scheme, so the Google is analyzing more about users' interest, and while we are giving the query, so it also searches for whether the query is present in the title of the web pages retrieved. So of course, a search system will, so there are billions of web pages behind, and there may be millions of web pages that are relevant to the query we give, but we are interested only in the first 10 the web pages that are thrown to us. So how perfect should that ranking be? So there are so many factors Google takes care of. The one factor is like it searches for the titles and whether the query word posted by the user is present in the title or heading, or it also checks for whether the content retrieved is fresh or not. If it is very old content, it may not be get a good rank. So that is also taken care of. And number of time our search terms appear in the web page. The frequency, the query frequency So these information should be, of course, loaded in the index database already. So that's how this ranking scheme can work perfectly. So looks for the sites that many users seem to value for similar queries. So for the similar queries, the users would have visited those web pages frequently for similar kind of queries. So that is also taken care of, and such websites get a good rank. So the other factor that can also be considered, that is also taken care of, is the when many prominent web pages point to a particular web page about this topic, so the queries topic, so then that is also a good sign about the about that particular web page, then that is pushed up. So this can also be a disadvantage, and a particular a spam website can be pushed up in rank deliberately. So Google fights against this with algorithms to identify such websites and remove them periodically. So this also we would have observed when we are using our Google search. So not everyone is served with the same search results, of course. So the same keywords, two different persons will get different results based upon their interest and their background and location. So one such example which could make this clear is that, so when two consumers in Chicago and Chennai use the same query words, top restaurants, obviously they would get a different results. So that is how Google serves the user based upon their interest and their locations and background. So we have built the search system. So we know how to collect the web pages, and we know how to index them, search them, how to process the query. So once we are built with any system, not only IR system, we need to evaluate them to prove their efficiency. So as far as IR is concerned, precision and recall are the popular parameters to evaluate it. So these two parameters judge the evaluation system, the IR system by how relevant, how much relevant documents or web pages are retrieved to the user, relevant to their, closer to their query. So that's what they judge. We will understand them even closer. So we will look at precision. So precision is a fraction of retrieved documents that are relevant. So precision is defined as number of relevant items retrieved divided by number of retrieved items. So what does that means is that, for example, so we have for a query, so for a query given by the user, there are total 100 web pages are retrieved by the information retrieval system. So let's say, so that is the denominator. Number of retrieved items is 100, out of which maybe not all the 100 items may not be relevant to the user given query. So some may be irrelevant. So let's say only 60 items, 60 web pages are relevant out of the 100. So that is the numerator. The number of relevant items retrieved by number of retrieved items. So that's what a precision means. So let's look at the second parameter. So recall is a fraction of relevant documents that are retrieved. So recall is defined as number of relevant items retrieved divided by number of relevant items. The numerator, when we watch closer, the numerator for both precision and recall are same. So let's take the same scenario. So when we are given the query, so we retrieved 100 web pages, and out of which only 60 was relevant. So that is the numerator for both precision and recall. So so number of the relevant items retrieved is now 60. But what about the denominator of recall? Number of relevant items. So number of relevant items in the sense, actually out of that out of the web pages that are present in the index database, 70 web pages are relevant. So that those 10 web pages are missed out. So that did not show up in the numerator. So that is what the denominator of recall is speaking about. The number of relevant items actually present in the index database that did not show up, that did not get retrieved by the information retrieval system. So because of its inefficiency somewhere in query processing module, or somewhere in document representation, document processing, or indexing scheme. So somewhere it was loose, and it was not able to show up those missed out those relevant web pages to the user. So that is what the denominator of the recall means. So it can also be understood in a different perspective. So from true positive, false positive, and false negative, true positive, true negative. So precision is equal to true positive by true positive plus false positive, and whereas recall is true positive by true positive plus false negative. So we'll understand. So these parameters, obviously, we would have used in most of the in all the most of the systems. But as far as IR is concerned, so how are they defined? So we'll understand that. True positives is nothing but the relevant web pages that are retrieved. So the web pages that are retrieved and they are relevant. So that is true positive. False negative is that the relevant web pages that are not retrieved. So that is what recall was talking about. So you can here also you can check the denominator of the recall. The relevant web pages that were missed out by the information retrieval system and they did not come out at all. So that is false negative. And false positive means irrelevant web pages retrieved. So the positive here means they were retrieved, but they were false. So that's how it should be understood. Irrelevant web pages that is retrieved. So that is false positive. True negative. So irrelevant web pages that are not retrieved. So those are irrelevant that are not retrieved. So that is not of concern at all in the precision and recall. So this is how we evaluate the information retrieval system. And this is about information retrieval system, and it's just an introduction of introduction about how Google works. Thank you.